We acknowledge that the sacred land in which Smiths Falls is now located has been a site of human activity for over 10,000 years and is rich in Indigenous history. This land is the ancestral and unceded territory of the Algonquin Anishinaabe Nation. We are grateful to the Algonquin ancestors who cared for the land and water in order that we might meet here today. We're also grateful to the Algonquin people for their contribution in the making of the Rideau Canal, which runs through Smiths Falls. We are mindful of broken covenants and the need to reconcile with all our relations. Together, may we care for this land and each other, drawing on the strength of our mutual history of nation building through peace and friendship, and being mindful of generations to come. I've got two announcements today. The first is a proclamation for Pride Month. Pride Month, June 2022. Whereas the town of Smiths Falls supports the rights of every citizen to experience equality and freedom from discrimination, whereas all people, regardless of race, national or ethnic origin, color, religion, age, sex, sexual orientation, gender identity or expression, marital status, genetic characteristics or disability, have the right to be treated on the basis of their intrinsic value as human beings. Whereas the town of Smiths Falls accepts and welcomes people of diverse backgrounds and believes a diverse population leads to a more vibrant community. And whereas a two-spirited, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, and plus, which is the 2SL GBTQ+ communities, contribute to the cultural, civic, and economic successes of this community. And whereas while we as a society at large are slowly embracing new definitions of sexuality and gender, we must also acknowledge that the need for education and awareness remains vital to end discrimination and prejudice. And therefore, to acknowledge the efforts to bring awareness to the continuing evolution to the 2SL GBTQ+ Pride movement, the town of Smiths Falls will display the rainbow flag representing light, healing, sun, calmness, art, and spirit in front of Town Hall for the month of June. Now, therefore, be resolved that I, Sean Panko, Mayor of the town of Smiths Falls, do hereby proclaim June 2022 as Pride Month in the town of Smiths Falls, encourage our residents to reflect on the ongoing struggle for equality members of the 2SL GBTQ+ community face, and to celebrate the contributions that enhance our municipality. Secondly, I want to welcome John Ruffo and Fred Haggard, who are here from Shriners International 150th Anniversary Day, June 6, 2022. Whereas Shriners International is a well-known fraternity dedicated towards fun, fellowship, and philanthropy, with 200 members belonging to over 200 chapters throughout Canada, the United States, Mexico, Republic of Panama, Philippines, Europe, and South America. Whereas its members support 27 children's hospitals and treatment centers, including a hospital in Montreal with a one-of-a-kind international pediatric specialty healthcare system that was founded by the Shriners fraternity in 1922 and provides all care regardless of the cost to patients or their families. Whereas it is fitting and appropriate to acknowledge and celebrate this wonderful fraternity and its rich history on June 6, the anniversary of the day Imperial Council of Shriners International was founded. Therefore, I, Sean Panko, Mayor of the town of Smiths Falls, do hereby proclaim Monday, June 6, 2022, as Shriners International 150th Anniversary Day in the town of Smiths Falls. And John or Fred, I'll give either one of you an opportunity if you just want to say a couple things.
Thank you, Mayor Panko. We really appreciate your support. And of course, the town of Smiths Falls has supported Land Lake Shrine Club, which is one of the organized clubs under the Tuna Shriners, which is in our area of a catchment from Ottawa right through to Brockville and up through to Pembroke and so forth. We have been very active in the community. We are very, very happy to have the town proclaim our 150th anniversary. And actually this year too is our 100th anniversary of our Shriners Hospital system as well, which is will be celebrated later this year. I just wanted to introduce Fred here. Fred's our marketing and communications chairman for Tunis. And we really, all I want to say is thank you very much for the support. We meet you folks at all times in different places. We support our local hospitals, of course. golf tournament coming up in July for supporting Smith Falls Hospital as well, and Smith Falls Birth and Smith Falls Hospital Foundation. And thank you again. Fred, I don't know if you want to add to that or.
I would like to echo your words here, John. On behalf of Tuna Shrine, I thank the town of Smith Falls for their gesture proclaiming June 6th as International Shriners Day. It is an honor to have it done, and we look forward to seeing our flag flown somewhere in the city. We understand there's a couple of spots being looked at. As John had just mentioned, we are celebrating two big anniversaries, and we're going to be marking that with a special gala on September 10th. And the public is invited to this gala. If you'd like more information, you can obviously contact John or through to me. I got the tickets, but we'd be more than happy to have you guys join us at our grand celebration. It's we promise lots of fun. We got a live band. We got free parking and a 4-course dinner. It's being held here in Ottawa by the baseball stadium on Coventry Road. Again, I'd like to thank you, Mayor, and the Council of Smith Falls for this proclamation.
Well, thank you, gentlemen. And thanks to the Tuna Shriners and everything they've done for our community for, well, I'm not sure how long they've been in Smith Falls, but probably close to 150 years. Have a good evening, gentlemen. Thank you. Okay, moving ahead, I'll ask for disclosure of monetary interest. I see none. We have no delegation. We have no adoption of minutes. Reports. I assume there must be a few reports this evening. Yes, we'll start with Councillor Brennan, please.
Thank you, and I'll mention that I'm a proud Mason, hopefully someday a Shriner, and my father was a Shriner for many, many years, so I'm really glad to see those guys here tonight. I just wanted to mention and we just talked about the agreement we have with the Chamber, and the Chamber provided us with me and their executive with an update this week. And just to say that last week, I think it was last week, they hosted a job fair at Settlers Ridge Mall, and it was a great success. They hosted a barbecue, and they filled 19 positions in various industries in town. So good on them. And I wanted to say that the ambassador program, which I believe is a provincial program, Michelle's Doorway to Splendor received $10,000 grant to expand into men's clothing. So I'm happy to hear that because I need some clothes. And that's actually the first grant application with that program in Ontario. So congratulations and to Vanessa in the Chamber office for working on that. As we just talked about with our agreement with the town, their agreement with the town, they've hired 2 summer students through the summer job grants. One has started. The one will start in June. The total funding is $15,000, so that's going to help them out to promote our town. And as we know, hopefully the cantina will be coming soon, and they're working with Parks Canada at the present time to make that a reality. And hopefully with our support, I know they have our support, so that will persuade Parks Canada to get that going. I want to tell you that on Friday, June 17th, at the Smith Falls Golf and Country Club, there's going to be a golf tournament sponsored by the Chamber. Many of us have played in that before. They need more people to sign up, so I would go to their website and let's have a council team maybe, and get on the course. It's been a while for me, but another exciting event they're planning is July 15th, 16th, and 17th at the Settlers Ridge Center is a Rib Fest. And I've been to the Rib Fest in Perth a couple of times. So that's going to be a great event. They're booking bands and whatnot. There'll be more information coming soon. On June 4th, which is coming up very soon, they're going to have a artist and market extended license patios on Russell Street. And that's going to be weekly, starting on June 4th from 4 to 11 p.m. And further down the road, on Friday, October 7th, there will be the Bustle on Russell. And the last time they had that was a great event. I remember the dunk tank and had a lot of fun with that. I think the mayor did too. So anyway, they're very active. The visitor center they've been working on, I walked by there today, there's flowers planted, and they actually got broken into last week. And Leslie Richardson, their director, has done a great job in refurbishing it. So looking forward to a great summer down at Victoria Park.
Thank you very much. Councillor McGuire, will you get your hand up as well?
Thank you, Your Worship. The Accessibility Advisory Committee is still looking for another member. So if you're interested in that, the application is available online. The committee continues to work on the work plan, and a big thanks to everybody that's been coming to those meetings and contributing. The MHC has a meeting coming up this Wednesday at 4:30. If you're free to tune in on YouTube or Facebook. The Smith Falls Police Service had a barbecue to host our Special Olympians last Wednesday at the police station. I wasn't able to make it, but Kathy Botham got some great pictures that are on the Facebook page. And also it's Police Week from May 15th to the 21st. So there's going to be posts on Facebook marking each day. Officers are going to be out in schools, foot, bike, and in the cruisers to be greeting the community. So a big thank you to our civilian and uniform staff at the police station, and a happy National Police Week to everybody.
Thank you. Additional reports? I don't see any of their hands up. I've just got a few quick ones myself. The Housing Advisory Committee met May 11th. We had a presentation from Emily Hollington and Julie Stewart from Lanark County Social Services. Municipal tools to support affordable housing development. So this is a presentation that previously came to County Council. We had asked that it come to our advisory committee for a good chance for feedback and understanding. So it was a very effective presentation and very much appreciated. Also May 11th, Councillor McKenna and I attended Community Services and Corporate Services Committee meeting for Lanark County. And at the corporate services, there was a review of the RFP results for fire communications and dispatch. And people watching may be aware that the town of Smith Falls has provided fire dispatch services and communications to the municipalities of Lanark County for a large number of years. The town had submitted actually submitted the only submission to the county for this RFP. And there was a widespread support to accept our submission for a 5-year extension, to possible 5-year extension subsequent to that. So with a dollar amount for 2023 of $227,000. So I think that's got to come to County Council for ratification, but full support at corporate services and encouraging to see that move ahead. And then earlier today, again, I sit on the Climate Action Committee for Lanark County, and we had a very comprehensive presentation from Gord Harrison of Climate Network Lanark on the role of wetlands in sequestering carbon and fighting effects of climate change. Very informative, very effective. And then we were working on finalizing both our corporate and community climate action priorities. They'll be coming soon to County Council for review and approval. And ultimately, the outcome of all of this work, and there's been an extensive amount of work from committee members as well as staff from the county. I think it would really help support our own responsibilities and guide our decisions when it comes to our responsibilities under the FCM's Partners for Climate Protection. So a lot of great work happening, but it will ultimately lead to some great results for the town as well. And that's it for my reports. We have no further reports, so we'll move into our bylaws. Our first one is with Councillor McGuire, please. This is a third reading of a bylaw that came forward a couple weeks ago.
Thank you, Your Worship. So moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Brennan, that a bylaw to amend bylaw 8142-2008, being a bylaw to establish fees and charges for the town of Smith Falls, be now read a third time and finally passed, signed, sealed, and numbered 10343-2022.
Thank you. And before I read the bylaw, Councillor McGuire, do you have a few comments?
Yeah, so this is to update our fee structure for a variety of departments. There's some areas that Committee of the Whole noted they'd like to have more discussion on, so we're going to be looking at that at a future date. But in the meantime, this gets everything passed for June 1st.
Thank you. It's moved by Councillor McGuire, seconded by Councillor Brennan, that a bylaw to amend bylaw 8142-2008, being a bylaw to establish fees and charges for the town of Smith Falls, be now read a third time and finally passed, signed, sealed, and numbered 10343-2022. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. And Councillor McKenna, you have the next bylaw.
Yes, Your Worship, moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Alfred, that a bylaw to authorize execution of a sewage system management agreement with Rideau Valley Conservation Authority be received and read a first time and taken as read a second time.
Thank you. Moved by Councillor McKenna, seconded by Councillor Alfred, that a bylaw to authorize execution of a sewage system management agreement with the Rideau Valley Conservation Authority be received and read a first time and taken as read a second time. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Discussion, Councillor?
Yes, after decades of providing this service, the public health unit of Lanark Leeds Grumble is will be winding that up and no longer offering that service. The Rideau Valley Conservation Authority does provide that service now to some municipalities. So Smith Falls needs someone to do those reviews as they come up. We have very few septic systems in our community, 10 maybe or a dozen. And so it has a modest impact, but Rideau Valley Conservation Authority has got a team of experts that do this work, and this agreement will serve us well into the future.
Thank you. Any further discussion? May I have a third reading, please?
Again, moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Alfred, that a bylaw to authorize execution of a sewage system management agreement with Rideau Valley Conservation Authority be now read a third time and finally passed, signed, sealed, and numbered 10346-2022.
Thank you. It's moved by Councillor McKenna, seconded by Councillor Alfred, the bylaw to authorize execution of a sewage system management agreement with the Rideau Valley Conservation Authority be now read a third time and finally passed, signed, sealed, and numbered 10346-2022. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. And Councillor Dwyer, you're up next.
Thank you. Moved by myself and seconded by Councillor McGuire, I think we said on this one, that a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council at its meeting on the 4th and 18th days of April 2022 be received and read a first time and taken and read a second time.
Thank you. Moved by Councillor Dwyer, seconded by Councillor McGuire, the bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council at its meetings on the 4th and 18th days of April 2022 be received and read a first time and taken as read a second time. All in favor? It's carried. Thank you. Discussion, Councillor Dwyer.
Thank you, Mayor Pankow. This is an administrative matter. We pass and ratify our minutes from previous meetings by bylaw every month.
Thank you. Maybe a third reading.
Thank you. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor McGuire, that a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council at its meetings on the 4th and 18th day of April 2022 be now read a third time and finally passed, signed, sealed, and numbered 10347-2022.
Thank you. Moved by Councillor Dwyer, seconded by Councillor McGuire, that a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council at its meetings on the 4th and 18th days of April 2022 be now read a third time and finally passed, signed, sealed, and numbered 10347-2022. All in favor? And that is carried. Thank you. And Councillor Dwyer, you're right back up.
I am, thank you. Moved by myself and seconded by Councillor McKenna, that a bylaw to appoint Jonathan Prue as building inspector for the town of Smith Falls be received and read a first time and taken and read a second time.
Thank you. Moved by Councillor Dwyer, seconded by Councillor McKenna, the bylaw to appoint Jonathan Prue as building inspector for the town of Smith Falls be received and read first time and taken as read a second time. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Discussion, please.
Thank you. In accordance with the Ontario Building Code Act, the municipality has to pass a bylaw recognizing inspectors and officers acting in their capacities for enforcement and administrative purposes. In this case, Mr. Prue has completed his probationary period on staff, and we are pleased to recognize him as an official inspector by passing the bylaw.
Thank you. Any further discussion? May I have the third reading, please?
Thank you. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor McKenna, that a bylaw to appoint Jonathan Prue as a building inspector for the town of Smith Falls be now read a third time and finally passed, signed, sealed, and numbered 10348-2022.
Thank you. Moved by Councillor Dwyer, seconded by Councillor McKenna. That a bylaw to appoint Jonathan Prue as a building inspector for the town of Smith Falls be now read a third time and finally passed, signed, sealed, and numbered 10348-2022. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Councillor Brennan.
Thank you. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Dwyer, that a bylaw to authorize execution of a memorandum of understanding with the Smith Falls District Chamber of Commerce be received and read a first time and taken as read a second time.
Thank you. Moved by Councillor Brennan, seconded by Councillor Dwyer, that a bylaw to authorize execution of a memorandum of understanding with the Smith Falls and District Chamber of Commerce be received and read a first time and taken as read a second time. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Discussion, Councillor Brennan?
Yeah, not to rehash what we just talked about in our committee of the whole beforehand, and my report, but this is going to benefit Victoria Park with the visitor center. The chamber is going to run it. It's going to be mutually beneficial to both parties. And what I didn't mention in my report, which I meant to, reports from the chamber are they are very, very happy to do this, and they're very, very pleased with their dealings with the municipality, which is a refreshing thing to hear. So I'm really happy to say that. But that's about it.
Thank you. Any further discussion? May I have a third reading, please?
Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Dwyer, that a bylaw to authorize execution of a memorandum of understanding with the Smith Falls District Chamber of Commerce be now read a third time and finally passed, signed, sealed, and numbered 10349-2022.
Thank you. It's moved by Councillor Brennan, seconded by Councillor Dwyer, that a bylaw to authorize execution of a memorandum of understanding with the Smith Falls and District Chamber of Commerce be now read a third time and finally passed, signed, sealed, and numbered 10349-2022. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Councillor Brennan, right back to you.
I'm right back. Moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Alford, that the Council of the Corporation of the Town of Smith Falls deem the property known as Burke Street Road Allowance to the south of Jones Street and the west of Via Rail Line as surplus to the needs of the Town of Smith Falls.
Thank you. Moved by Councillor Brennan, seconded by Councillor Alford. The Council of the Corporation of the Town of Smith Falls deem the property known as Burke Street Road Allowance to the south of Jones Street and to the east of the Via Rail Line as surplus to the needs of the Town of Smith Falls. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Sorry, I should ask for discussion on that, Councillor Brennan.
Yes. This was discussed, I believe, last week, and there's been a request made for this little parcel of land. I think it's 1,900 square meters. It is developable, but the first step in selling the land is to declare it surplus, which is what we're doing tonight. So hopefully there's interest enough to put some sort of residential development there and create infill. So this is the first step of that process legally.
Okay, thank you. Councillor McGuire, you have item 8.2.
Thank you, Your Worship. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Alford, the Council of the Town of Smith Falls resolved to recognize the property known as 11 Market Street under Section 27 of the Ontario Heritage Act, RSO 1990, as amended, and place the property on the municipal registry of the properties of interest. And further, that staff be directed to work with the Municipal Heritage Committee to conduct the research respecting a municipal heritage designation.
Thank you. Discussion, please.
So this comes from last week's committee of the whole meeting. As we've heard, there's pressures to demolish the former Smith Falls Hydro building from the current owner, Hydro One. As such, this is a property that's been on the Municipal Heritage Committee's radar for a very long time. It's one of the oldest stone buildings in Smith Falls. It's got a great cultural history to the structure and some great architectural features. So it would be a shame to lose that from our downtown. This takes some of the levers we have as a municipality to show our appreciation for the structure and document what it brings to the Town of Smith Falls as an asset. So appreciate the full support of Committee of the Whole, and I know the Municipal Heritage Committee will be very excited to discuss this at our meeting Wednesday at 4:30.
Super, thank you. And just as an FYI, I did reach out to the Chief of Staff for the Minister of Energy last week. Heard back from him and had subsequently had a conversation with an official at Hydro One who reopened the lines of communication. So we'll see where that goes, but there is some progress on that front. So it is moved by Councillor McGuire, seconded by Councillor Alford, that the Council of the Town of Smith Falls resolve to recognize a property known as 11 Market Street under Section 27 of the Ontario Heritage Act, RSO 1990, as amended, and place the property on the Municipal Registry of Properties Interest, and further that staff be directed to work with the Municipal Heritage Committee to conduct the research respecting a municipal heritage designation. All in favor? Carry. Thank you very much. And Councillor Alfred, you are up next.
Yes, thank you, Worship. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor McKenna, that Council of the Corporation of the Town of Smith Falls authorize the extension of contract 21-PW-004 to Aqua Drain Sewer Services, Inc. for the 2022 Catch Basin Cleaning Program. And further, that council authorize the mayor and clerk to execute a contract agreement with Aqua Drain Sewer Services, Inc. in the amount of $28,860.76, including HST.
Thank you. Discussion, please.
This is an annual maintenance program to ensure that grit, sand, and debris is collected in catch basins from roadside water runoff before it reaches the sewer mains. Fun fact: 1,054 catch basins, 24 double catch basins, and 50 combined manholes are what is about to be cleaned with the execution of this agreement. It was first signed in 2021 with a provision to extend, and staff have been pleased with Aqua Drain's performance, and this, so they have recommended this to council, and the cost is within budget.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Okay. Moved by Councillor Alford, second by Councillor McKenna. The Council of the Corporation of the Town of Smith Falls authorize the extension of contract number 21-PW-004 to Aqua Drain Sewer Services, Inc. for the 2022 Catch Basin Cleaning Program. And further, the council authorized the mayor and clerk to execute a contract agreement with Aqua Drain Sewer Services, Inc. in the amount of $28,860.76, including HST. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. And Councillor Dwyer, you have our final piece of business for this evening.
Thank you. Moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Brennan, that Council of the Corporation of the Town of Smith Falls approve the following 2022 municipal grant allocations. Downtown Business Association being $5,000 plus in-kind donation. The Smith Falls Chamber of Commerce, a $5,000 donation plus again in-kind donations. And the Rito Paddle Fest / Rito Roundtable, $1,000 plus in-kind donations.
Thank you. Discussion?
Thank you. So following the allocation of our community grant funding from earlier in the year, it was noted that we had a surplus of funds. So a second round of grants was offered to the community. We had 4 grant recipients, I believe, put requests in, of which 3 are being recommended. We are pleased to be able to provide the funding, and with respect to the in-kind donations, staff are going to be circling back to council with more information about what a monetary figure would look like for the funds that are assigned.
Great, thank you very much. Anything further? It is moved by Councillor Dwyer, seconded by Councillor Brennan. The Council of the Corporation of the Town of Smith Falls approves the following 2022 municipal grant allocations. Downtown Business Association, $5,000 plus in kind. Smith Falls Chamber of Commerce, $5,000 plus in kind. And Rito Paddle Fest / Rito Roundtable, $1,000 plus in kind. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. That's the end of our official business. Any inquiries or announcements? I guess not. We'll move right to adjournment. Councilor McGuire.
Thank you, Your Worship. Moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Brennan that this council adjourn its proceedings at 5:45 PM and stand so adjourned until the next duly called meeting of council.
Thank you. Moved by Councilor McGuire, seconded by Councilor Brennan. This council adjourns proceedings at 5:45 PM and stands to adjourn until the next duly called meeting of council. All in favor? We stand adjourned.